Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We can go on now. Thank you very much. All right. Let me also know if you can see this shared screen. I believe everyone can see the shared screen. Please, if you're viewing it from a mobile device, you're advised to switch it to landscape mode because it's in landscape mode that you can see everything we are doing clearer. Now, this is the welcome screen of Microsoft Excel. We are going to take it up from here. If you launch your Microsoft Excel for the first time, it's going to take you to this first screen. Now on this screen, we can see new. Like they're asking you, what do you want to do today? We have blank workbook, inventory list. This was something I worked on recently. Now, Excel has a good number of templates. Templates are already designed formats, which you can just use and input your own data and get results automatically without you being the one to design. Now, a good number of them are here. For instance, if I click on more templates, Excel is going to bring out a good number of templates here for me to choose. So at your convenient time, you can go ahead and explore some of these templates that are made available in Microsoft Excel. You can even search for more. Like if I search for inventory, if you're connected online, you can search for more templates. Of course, you're going to get a good number of them here and try your hands. But for now, let's go back. Today, we are just going to go straight to blank workbook. Okay, so this is the workbook environment for Microsoft Excel. Now, on this workbook, we can see a menu here. So we are going to take our time now to talk about some of these menus and what they do. Now, the first here is what we call the menu bar. Now, on the menu bar, we have menus such as home. Now, when you click on the menu, you are going to see on this formula side the menu bar. Okay, this is the title bar. Then on the menu bar, you're going to see the menus, which represents that particular title you've gone to. Like for instance, if I click on insert, okay, if I click on insert, you see it has changed. Now these are the functions which you can get from insert. You can still see more if you come to recommended charts here. You're going to see more items. If you also go to page layouts, you will see other items. For instance, from page layouts, you can see orientation. Orientation is just asking you, how do you want your page? Is it as a portrait page or a landscape? For those persons who are interested in printing, you need to set your page format very well. Of course, your size. You also need to know about sizes. You'll see later here, A3, A4. Most standard paper for printing, usually A4 paper and all that. Okay, we also have our formula menu here. Sooner we'll be looking at what some of these functions does, especially the data menu, which is one of our primary menu of concern in this course. Okay, now let's come back to home. I'm going to try to zoom out. How do we minimize this? I'm going to try to zoom out my page a little so that we can see it clearer. Okay, now if you look at Excel, you see that we have the columns represented in alphabets. So these are different columns in Excel. If you scroll to the right, you see that there are many. It gets to Z and even continues with AA, AB, AC, and so on. So those are columns. And then we also have the rows, which are represented with numbers from number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on here. Now, where a row, for instance, this row 2, and then column B intersects, forms what we call a cell. Let me type it. A cell. Yes. So Excel is simply an intersection of a row and column in Microsoft Excel. Now, one important thing you need to note about a cell is that every cell is unique. Unique in the sense that they have their cell address, they have their names. For instance, if I click on this cell where I've typed this text, you see that the column B is highlighted and the row 2 is highlighted. So the cell address, or what we call cell reference, to this particular cell now becomes B2. The cell reference is B2. Now, if I also come to a different cell, you see that this is now highlighted, and the cell reference of this one is E4. It is so unique because operations can be performed in a given cell by just calling the cell address. You can perform a particular computation or analysis to a particular cell by just calling the cell address. And Excel has made it so that every cell has their own names. For instance, if I click here, you see that this one now is F5. This is B7. Once you click on the cell, once it's highlighted, the address will also be highlighted to tell you the particular cell where you are in. Okay, so that is about cell. Now, Microsoft Excel, in a particular a file here in Microsoft Excel is referred to as a workbook. For instance, the name of this workbook now is workbook 2. Now, in a workbook, you can have different sheets. Like this is sheet 1. If I click on this plus, I'm going to have my sheet 2, sheet 3, and so on. And you can actually name these sheets by just right clicking on the name there where you have sheet 1. You can see rename. You can rename it to first. Let me see. First sheet. Okay. So I've just successfully renamed this one to first sheet. Okay, that's it about sheets. Now, data in Excel are entered into the cells. They are entered into the cells. For instance, let's say we want to do a simple inventory system for, let me say, some office items. So I can just come to this first cell, A1, and type office inventory. Okay, now observe that the text which I've entered here has extended into the second column being column B. However, that text is still in column A. It's not in column B. It's more like a mirage. Because I can also click on column B. You see that there's no text there. I can type there, let me say serial number, for instance. Enter. You see that the other text that was in column A is now hidden. Okay, let me delete this. All right. Now, to navigate in Excel, there are different methods of navigation. Navigation is simply process of moving from one cell to the other. So to navigate in Excel, you just simply have to use your enter key to go down. The more you press your enter key to go down. Now to go back, I can just hold shift and press enter. It takes me up. All right. So we ask, what if I want to go to the right or left? Then you can use your tab, the tab key. Once you click on the tab key, it will be taking you to the right. If you want to go backward, you can use shift tab to come back. All right. As it is always good for one to learn how to use Excel without the mouse, such that you just need your keyboard to navigate. Now, also another way of navigating in Excel is to use your arrow keys. On your keyboard, you have 4 arrow keys for up, down, left, right. You can also use them to navigate between cells in Excel. So sometimes I find that one very easy. And the last way you can do that is to use your mouse pointer. Any cell you click, that's not the cell you're in. Okay. Now back to our inventory. You can just use this You can use Excel to prepare a simple system, let's say a table containing values with or without calculation. Excel can be used as an avenue to prepare documents that are in tabular form. It's best to prepare them in Excel than in Microsoft Word because Excel already has created columns for you and you can always switch from one column to the other. Now, let's say this column, this row represents the captions. Let's say we have items, item, then I'll use my tab to move. And then we have here quantity. Then let's also have unit price. It's good we state that this unit price is in Naira. So I'll use NGN. Then we also have total value. Okay, let's just stop here for now. Then I'm back to this column 3. Let me now list the items. Let's say we have pens, enter. Then we have pencils. Let me say highlighters. Okay. Not forgetting notebook. Notebooks. We also have what we call sticky notes. Sticky notes. People just need to note that things and gum on the wall. Office people will understand better. Okay. We have this stapler. And of course the staples. Okay. Let's just put papers. Papers like the ones that come in ring. Maybe 10 of them is just enough. Now, observe something that some of the text have extended into the column B, and we don't really want it to extend. Now, there are so many ways to do these adjustments. The first basic one is if your text has exceeded this line for the particular column, you bring your mouse pointer to the top. The imaginary line between column A and B, the center there, you can click there and drag. Once you drag, you can see that we have now extended the size of that column. We have extended the size of that column. Okay. Now, another way to do that, let me undo it. Another way to do that is we can highlight this entire work area, then come to any of these columns and highlight it, then expand the column. Okay, we have that. Now, you also notice that this quantity demanded, unit price, total values have all exceeded their columns. So, similarly, you can just expand those columns. Okay, like this one, I need to expand it very well. Okay. Now, quantity demanded, let's say pen, pen are usually highly demanded. So let's say we need about 50 pen, then pencil, let's say 100. Then for highlighters, let's say about 20 of them. Then notebook, let's say about 30 of them here. Sticky notes are usually made, so let's say about 100 of them. Then the stapler, let's say about 5. Staples, it's usually made, so let's take about 5,000 staples there. They come in their boxes. So, okay, paper, let's say about, okay, this one's, the staples come in boxes, so maybe 100 boxes is okay. And then paper comes in reams. So let's say we need about 10 reams of paper. Okay, now the unit price, I'm not very sure, but for pen, I know that average price of pen is, let me say 50 naira. Pencil, let me also use 50 naira. Then highlighters should be about, let me say 150. Notebooks, maybe we are looking at these thick cover notes. Let me just give it 500. Then sticky notes, maybe each of them should be like 10 naira, 10 naira each. Then the stapler, okay, I'm not very sure. Let me say stapler is 1,000 naira. Then the staples, each of these box, let's say they are for 100 naira each. Then the ream of paper is expensive now. Let me see, 4,500 per ream. Now, you have seen how we have successfully entered this information into the spreadsheets by simply navigating with enter. For each one I type, I'll just use enter. Okay, so that's just it. Now, to calculate the total value, you know that total value now is going to be unit price multiplied by quantity demanded. For those of us who attended the first webinar that day, we saw how we could do some simple calculations in Excel, simple basic arithmetic calculations. This first section is going to handle this inventory system. Then in the second section, we are going to look at a real spreadsheet, a payroll spreadsheet. In that one, we are going to do a good calculation. So for this one, we just have to do this total value. So total value now is going to be quantity multiplied by unit price. Now, in Excel, whenever you're entering any command that has to do with calculation, you must start by entering your equality sign. So we are going to have equal to. Then very quickly, since I want to multiply, I'm going to do this calculation for just pen, which is the first item, and then I'm going to apply it for it to calculate for others. That makes it automatic. Excel does automatic calculation. So pending the number of items on this list, if I can be able to successfully calculate the total value for the first item, Excel should be able to provide the calculation for the rest of the items. So I'm going to call that address for this quantity here, which is B3. So I can just say B3. Now, notice that immediately I type B3, it is highlighted. That means I have called that cell into this computation. Then multiply. Multiplication is just your asterisk. Multiply by unit price. And unit price here is C3. So I'll say multiply by C3. And then I'll enter. So that's it. So the total value for this particular item is 2,500. Now, instead of coming down here to do the same calculation, all I have to do is click on this value, this first one, which we have calculated. If you look into this address bar or formula bar, you're going to see the computation there that we said B3, which is the quantity for the first item being pen multiplied by the unit price to give us 2005. Now, to apply the same calculation to other items, just come to this edge. If you see this edge here on this place, once you click there, this mouse pointer changes to a cross, a smaller cross. Now, once you change it to this smaller cross, there are two things I can do. You can either click there and drag down. Can you see that? Now, it has automatically calculated the total value for other items. Now, let me undo it. So the first thing you can do is to click and drag down. But a faster way of doing this, let's say we have so many items which cannot even be displayed on one screen. All you have to do is come to that place where you have that small spot there, double click on it. Automatically, you get all your calculations done. And so that is just simply how to do a simple inventory. Now, the calculation is done, but let's do a little formatting to what you have on this page. For instance, this office inventory, I want it centralized. I want it centralized on this file. Now, all I'll have to do is highlight the entire area. If you come to this menu here from home, there's what we call merge and center. Now, merge and center centralizes a particular text in a given range. Remember, in Excel, you must select to apply any changes. So I will highlight that and then I'll choose merge and center. Now, as you can see, that text has been centralized, has been brought to the center. Of course, I can put a highlight on it if I wish. I can put a blue highlight there by just coming to this place here and then select a highlight. I can make it bold. Of course, I can also bold in these headings here. Okay, I can bold in them. Good. Now, if you notice, these imaginary lines you're seeing are not actually here if you try to print. Let's see how this looks like if you're to print it. Now, if you go to print here from your file, you locate print, it's going to provide a preview for us. Let's give it a second, please. Now, if you see on this preview, you notice that there are no table attached to this data. So that means, let me escape it, escape. So I need to apply a table, a border on this table. So I will highlight the entire work area, especially from this item. Now, right here, just below this mode, this place is just used to apply border. So I can apply all border. If I apply all borders, now notice the difference between this part and this other side that the border is not applied to. Okay, so looking at this now, everything looks very fine. Now, the beautiful thing about Excel is, for instance, if the quantity reduces, the total value will automatically reduce. Let me say what you have in pen. And also, remember you have to save your work, which is very important. Click on File, Save As. Then you select your preferred location. I'm going to save this to Excel class. And of course, you have to enter a unique file name and save. So that just in case there is any form of interruption, so I'm going to save this as Office Inventory. Save. Okay, so that has been saved. Also, maybe you want to know the total value, because this value is an amount. So want to know the total unit price and also the total value. Very simple, just come down here. Now this time around, we are going to be doing a sum of all the total unit price. So I'm going to say equal to. Now the command here in Excel to add up things is sum. That's SUM. Now, if you sum, you see there are so many versions of sum, but I'm using the very first one, which is sum. Then I'm going to open a bracket. Now, I am summing from C3 to C10. So I'm going to say C3. I'm going to do this in two ways, C3 to C10. Now, observe that the entire unit price has been highlighted. So I will close my bracket and enter. Now, the total unit price is 6,360 naira. Now, once you apply the same total to total value, all I have to do, similarly, I will still click on this small dots here and then drag it to the right. Okay. Now, the total amount that will be spent to purchase this item is 86,500. This can be prepared in a very short time, and it's going to save time and save one from doing cumbersome calculations. Now, the good thing about Excel is what I was trying to say. If I reduce this pencil, maybe someone comes and say the pencil is too much, reduce it to 30. I'll just come here and type 30 and enter. Once you do that, Excel will automatically reflect it on the total value here. And that will automatically affect both the total. Okay, I'm going to call this place total. All right, we are rounding up this section. We have a limited time. I have been warned that the time is running out. So I'm just going to put total here. And this total is going to be total for unit price and also total for value demanded. So far, we've seen how to launch into the Excel work environment and how to navigate from one column to another using either enter and then shift enter to go upward. You can use tab to go to the right, shift tab to go to the left, or simply use your arrow keys to navigate. You can also use your mouse pointer to navigate. Now, let's say for instance, there was a misspelling. Let me say I needed to correct this spelling here. Now, there's a difference between being on a cell and being in a cell. If I click on this, I am on this cell. However, if I type any other thing, let me say pen, that will automatically replace what was originally there. But I don't want to do that. All I have to do is I wanted to correct something. Maybe I want to put staplers. To be in the cell, I will double click. Now, once you double click, you see that it is now a blinking cursor. That means you can edit that text, and that is it. And remember, while you're working, you need to be saving by pressing Ctrl X. So this brings us to the end of this section. In the next section, we are going to be looking at a bigger spreadsheet, and we'll be doing some further computation, but it's still going to be on a spreadsheet. This first class is just to welcome you to the Excel work environment and how you can do simple, enter your data and then do simple calculations here in Microsoft Excel. Thank you for hooking up. For those who are just watching from YouTube for the first time, do well to subscribe to our page. This is KD Concept Research Consultants. We providing video tutorials on how to use statistical softwares, including Excel and SPSS, to do data analysis. Thank you very much. So get ready for the second section of this course.